The rain hit the metal roof like tiny drums. John sat in his dusty workshop, drinking cold coffee and staring at broken parts. The light above flickered again. "Just like my life," he muttered. He had no friends, no family, just machines. They didn't lie. They didn't leave. A loud knock broke the silence. John opened the door. A man in a brown coat stood there, soaked in rain. Behind him was a tall figure, not moving. "You're the fixer?" the man asked. "Depends who's asking. I have something for you." He pulled back the tarp. An alien maid stood still. Metal skin, silver hair, black eyes that didn't blink. Her arms hung loose. Her dress was torn. "She's broken," the man said. "Can't speak. Doesn't respond. But she's beautiful. Take her for cheap." John looked at her. Something felt wrong. Not danger, something deeper, like forgotten sorrow. "Fine. Leave her here." The man grinned, dropped a few wires, and left. Inside, the maid stood like a statue. John checked her systems. Her power was low, but still running. "No ID tag." "That's odd," he said. He plugged her into his scanner. Memory chip, locked. Voice module, damaged. Origin, unknown. John scratched his head. No record? Not even from the central AI net. He tried speaking. "Can you hear me?" No answer. He waved a hand in front of her face. Nothing. But when he turned around, she blinked. That night he dreamed of fire. A city in flames. A woman screaming. A crown falling from the sky. He woke up sweating. The maid was standing by his bed. "Hey!" He jumped. "What are you doing?" She didn't move, just stared. John looked into her eyes. They were not empty. They were watching, learning. The next day, John returned to his work. The maid stood by the corner. He didn't give her any orders. Still, she cleaned the workbench, reorganized the tools, even repaired an old toaster bot without asking. John watched her in silence. "She's not just working," he whispered. "She's thinking." Later, while sweeping, she dropped a cloth. John picked it up. Something had been drawn in the dust on the floor. A strange symbol. A circle with wings and fire. John scanned it. Result: Royal Crest, Vereen Empire. Status: extinct. His eyes widened. No one's seen this for 10 years. He looked at her again. She was staring at the stars through the window. That night, the lights flickered. The wind outside howled. And then he heard it. A voice. Soft. Distant. "John." He froze. Looked around. No one. The maid was gone from her charging spot. He searched the dark hall. Found her sitting on the ground, drawing the same symbol on the floor. She looked up slowly. Her voice cracked like dry leaves. "Don't send me back." John stepped back. "Where?" Her lips trembled. "They're still looking for me." "Who?" She lowered her head. "The ones who kill the royal blood." John didn't sleep. He opened her side panel, hidden behind her arm. There, wrapped in old cloth, was a small metal chip, shaped like a crown. He scanned it. Locked. Royal security code. DNA required. Vereen royal line. His hands shook. She wasn't just a maid. She was someone important. Or dangerous. The next morning, John tried asking again. "Who are you?" She sat on a chair, still. Then whispered, "I was a gift once. Not a machine. Person. Then, they changed me." Her voice was clearer now. "They removed my name. Hid me far from home. I forgot who I was. But my eyes still remember." John looked into those dark eyes. There was pain. And something else. Power. Later that day, a drone flew past his window. Paused. Scanned. And left. The news said, "Unknown vessels spotted near Earth's orbit." But she whispered, "They are not unknown. They are hunters." That night, John found her drawing again. But this time, she wasn't alone. She was speaking. To herself. Or someone only she could see. He watched from the shadows. Then she said, "He doesn't know yet. But he will." John's breath caught. She turned toward him. "I see you," she said softly. And you will see me. She placed the metal crest on the table and walked away. John stood frozen. His quiet life was over. He didn't know who or what she truly was. But he knew one thing. She had not arrived by accident. She had come for a reason. And someone was coming for her. The metal crest lay on the table like it was alive. John stared at it. Small, sharp, shaped like a crown with wings. Not human. Not machine-made. It pulsed with faint blue light, almost like it was breathing. He didn't touch it. She had placed it there. The alien Maid. The one who wasn't just a maid. Her name was still unknown. She said little, but something inside her had changed. She moved faster now. Smarter. She avoided mirrors. She didn't sleep, but she dreamed with her eyes open. John knew one thing: she was waking up. From something deep. From something terrible. That morning, he scanned the crest using his best tools. The scanner beeped and flashed red. Object identified. Royal Crest, Vereen Empire. Access locked. Bloodline required princess class. John dropped the scanner. Princess? He looked over his shoulder. She was sitting in the corner, staring at a cracked glass screen. The reflection showed her face, half metal, half flesh. Her eyes shimmered like water under moonlight. You were royalty, John said. She didn't move. He stepped closer. Why are you hiding here? What happened to you? She whispered. I was gifted, then stolen, rewritten, buried. Later, John opened her spine panel again, the one most androids didn't have. Inside, beneath wires and dust, was a small glowing orb. It was beating, like a heart, and next to it, a broken seal, with the same royal crest. She was not built. She was born, and changed. That night, something strange happened. John heard soft music playing. Old Vereen melody, recorded centuries ago during peacetime. He followed the sound to the basement. She stood there, surrounded by blue light. The crest floated in the air above her hand. It was scanning her face. Then, royal identity confirmed. Name Valira. Title Crown Daughter. Status hunted. John gasped. She looked at him. I was never meant to survive, she said. They killed everyone. Burned the palace. Took my name. But not my will. John whispered. Valira. She nodded. I was put in sleep. My memories locked. My body turned into this tool. So I could be smuggled through border worlds. Why? He asked. So they wouldn't find me. The next day, the sky turned red. Local news reported black ships seen above Earth's orbit. Strange signals. Silent engines. The anchor said. No response to Earth's hails. John looked at Valira. Her hands were shaking. They found me, she said. John stepped forward. We can run. No, she said. If I run again, they will burn another world. She opened a box near her recharge station. Inside was a small piece of her broken sword, a Vereen Royal Guard blade. She held it like it still held power. That evening, someone knocked on John's door. Not loud. Slow. Heavy. He opened it. No one was there. Only a small drone hovered in front of him. Black. Silent. A red light blinking. It scanned his face. Then it spoke in a cold voice. Royal signature detected. Return the heir or face judgment. Valira appeared behind John. The drone froze. Its red light turned blue. Then it exploded. John coughed through the smoke. Valira pulled him back inside. Why did it explode? He asked. I overpowered its signal. But now they know I'm active. John slammed the door shut. You're not safe here anymore. No one is, she said. They packed tools, wires, memory chips. Valira helped rebuild an old stealth bike from John's junk pile. Her hands moved fast. She remembered technology older than Earth's own. While she worked, John asked, Do you remember everything now? Not yet, she said. Pieces. Fire. Screams. My mother's voice calling me. The sky falling. She looked at the stars again. I used to walk in gardens taller than buildings. Now I hide in shadows. John stared at her. You're not alone anymore. She smiled, just a little. I know. That night, John found her drawing again. Not symbols but faces. A woman with a crown. A man with a scar. A child with golden eyes. She pointed to the child. That was me, she said. Before I was steel. John noticed a tear roll down her cheek. Real warm. Not programmed. I don't understand one thing, he said. Why here? Why Earth? She looked at him, eyes full of memory. Because this world forgets. And sometimes, forgetting is safety. But now the hunters remembered. And Valira was ready to stop running. Even if it meant war. The black ships arrived without warning. They floated high above Earth's sky like shadows, silent and cold. No sound, no lights, no weapons showing, just watching. The news called them ghost vessels. But Valira knew what they really were. Hunters. They had found her. John stood on the roof of his workshop, staring up through a broken telescope. They've been sitting there for hours, he said. Why don't they move? Valira, standing behind him, replied quietly. Because they don't need to. They wait until you fear them. Then they strike. Her voice was sharper now. She didn't sound like a broken maid anymore. She sounded like someone who had led armies. Back inside, John packed food, water, and tools. His hands shook. Valira sat calmly, recharging her systems. We need to leave, John said. They know you're here. Valira opened her eyes. They know I'm alive. They always knew I would wake up. John snapped. Then why stay? Let's go before they send a strike team. She turned to him slowly. Because if I keep running, they will follow. If I fight, they might stop. John stared at her. You're not ready to fight. She looked at her hand, where the royal crest glowed faintly. Maybe not, she said. But I remember pain now. I remember betrayal. That gives me strength. That night, the power went out. Not just in the workshop. The whole city. Dark. Silent. And in the silence of boots. Marching. John peeked through the crack in the door. Figures in black cloaks walked down the street. Tall, thin, almost floating. Their faces were covered in silver masks. No eyes. No mouths. Just one red light glowing in the center. Valira pulled him away. Don't look at them. They can feel fear. John whispered. How many? 7. That's all they need. John gripped an old wrench. What do they want? Valira closed her eyes. They want the end of my bloodline. I am the last. The hunters walked past John's house. Then stopped. One turned toward the door. John's heart raced. Valira placed her hand on the wall. Her fingers glowed. Suddenly, the entire workshop changed. Walls shifted. Wires moved like snakes. Machines turned to face the door. They can scan for heat, she said. But I control the metal. The first hunter entered. Tall. Silent. Its red light scanned the room. Valira stepped forward. I'm not afraid of you anymore, she said. The hunter raised its hand. A long spear grew from its arm. John yelled, Look out! But Valira was already moving. She spun, sending a wave of blue energy through the floor. Machines sprang to life. Drills, arms, tools all flew at the hunter. It dodged fast but not fast enough. A blade cut its mask. It screamed, not loud, but deep, like a dying signal. Fell to the ground, twitching, dead. The other 6 charged in. John grabbed a small blaster from under the bench. He wasn't a soldier. He had never fought in war. But today he would fight for her. He fired at the second hunter. Missed. Valira caught his arm. Don't shoot. Direct the machines. He nodded. Got it. He tapped the command panel. Drones rose from the shelves. Lasers warmed up. The workshop was no longer a home. It was a battleground. Valira fought like fire. Her movements were fast, graceful, deadly. She wasn't human. She wasn't just metal. She was a queen made of lightning. But even she began to slow down. One hunter stabbed her side. Sparks flew. She fell to one knee. Valira! John ran to her. I'm fine, she said, her voice weak. The 5th hunter raised its blade, aiming for John. Valira looked up and screamed. A burst of light exploded from her chest. The hunter melted into dust. Only one was left now. It didn't attack. It spoke. You are not meant to rise, crown daughter. Valira stood tall. I was not meant to survive, she said. But I did. And now I remember everything. The hunter paused. Then you know what waits for you. Yes, she said. And I'm not afraid. John stepped beside her. The hunter looked at him. You protect her? A human? John raised his blaster again. I fix machines. I don't run from them. The hunter tilted its head. Then vanished in a blink. Silence returned. The power came back on. The workshop was a mess. Burned walls, smoking machines, broken glass. Valira sat down. Her wound sparked. Her hands shook. John knelt beside her. You okay? She nodded. They'll send more. John placed a hand on her shoulder. Then we get ready. Valira looked at him. You're not afraid either, she said. He smiled. You're not the only one who remembers things now. Outside, the sky was still red. But inside, something new had begun. A rebellion. Valira lay on the metal table, her chest sparking gently, her silver skin cracked. The fight with the hunters had cost her more than power. It had opened something deeper. Memories. Flashes of light. A mother's voice. A hand over her eyes. Promise. Hide her in the machine. Lock her name. Let her sleep. Now the lock was breaking. And she was waking up. John worked fast, hands covered in grease and blood. He repaired machines every day, but this was different. Valira was part machine, but her heart, whatever it truly was, beat like a person's. You're going to be fine, he whispered, soldering a melted panel in her ribs. She didn't reply, but her lips moved slightly. One word escaped. Mother. Night fell like a curtain of silence. Outside, Earth was holding its breath. The news still showed ghost ships in orbit. The world believed they were just passing by. No threat. But inside John's workshop, war had already begun. John sat near Valira, her crest glowing faint on the table. I saw one of those hunters look scared, he said softly. When you stood up, he backed away. He looked at her sleeping face. You were someone powerful, weren't you? He picked up the crest. It warmed in his hand. A strange sound came from it. A voice. Not Valira's. A woman's. Soft. Royal. To my daughter, Valira, crown of the Starlight Throne. If you hear this, it means they failed to kill you. John froze. Valira's fingers twitched. The voice continued. You were born with the gift. You can speak to machines, guide them. But they feared you. So they came for us. Valira's eyes snapped open. Blue light flashed inside them. I remember her voice, she whispered. John dropped the crest. Valira sat up, slower this time. She looked around, confused. Where am I? John looked nervous. You're home. Sort of. She touched her chest. I was asleep? Yes. You almost died again. I fixed you. Valira stood, shaky. My name. I remember it now. Valira. Crown daughter of Vereen. She looked at her hands. I used to make stars bloom. Machines danced when I sang. Now, I bleed oil. John gave a small laugh. Well, you bleed a little more than that. Valira turned to him, eyes serious. I was trained to rule, but never ruled. I was taught to fight, but never fought. She closed her fists. Now I must do both. John helped her walk outside. The sky was clear. Stars shined bright. Valira looked up. That one. See it? She pointed at a bright blue star. Vereen Prime. My home. Or what's left of it. John followed her gaze. You think it's still there? She shook her head. Not the way I remember. They burned it. They melted the crystal towers. But maybe there are others like me. Other royals? No. Survivors. People who still believe. Back inside, Valira touched an old machine John never used. It sparked to life. Hey, John said. That thing hasn't worked in years. I told you, she said. Machines remember me. She placed the crest inside it. The screen blinked. A map appeared. Dots. Paths, names in alien script. What is this? John asked. A secret royal network, Valira replied. Escape routes. Safe places. Codes only I could unlock. She pointed at a blinking dot. This one. This is still alive. A beacon. Someone is calling for help. John frowned. Where is it? She smiled. Under Earth's ocean. That night, Valira stood before a mirror for the first time. She looked at her reflection. Her silver skin. Her glowing lines. Her metal fingers. She raised her hands and traced the scar near her temple. A cut made by someone she once trusted. I remember who did this, she whispered. John watched her from the hallway. Who? She stared at herself. My uncle, General Kale. He betrayed the crown, told the hunters where I was, said the throne was cursed. She touched her neck. He cut me, inserted the lock chip, turned me into a tool. John's fists clenched. He's still out there? She nodded. He leads the hunters now. Valira walked into the workshop, eyes glowing brighter than before. No more hiding, she said. I need to go to the ocean, to the beacon. John blinked. That's crazy. Could be a trap. She looked at him. It probably is. He sighed. And you're going anyway? Yes. John smiled. Then I guess I'm going with you. She looked surprised. Why? You're not just some alien maid anymore, he said. You're my friend. Valira tilted her head, like the word felt strange. Friend. She nodded slowly. I like that word. Outside, a small black drone watched through the window. It zoomed away, silent and fast, sending a signal back to the orbiting ship. Inside that ship, a figure in a red cloak turned toward the stars. A voice spoke in his ear. She remembers. He smiled. Good, he whispered. Let her come. The sea was dark. Not just night dark, but deep, endless, and cold. John stared at the waves from the edge of the dock. His hands were tight on the steering bars of the old subrunner, a half-submarine, half-jet that hadn't flown in years. Beside him, Valira stood silent, her silver skin glowing faint blue. Below them, in the ocean's deep trench, something waited. Something ancient. Something calling. Valira had found the beacon's location 2 nights ago. The old royal map burned a path through layers of Earth's crust. Not on land, not in space, but hidden underwater. Why would they put a beacon in the sea? John asked. Valira replied, because people fear the deep. Even hunters fear what they don't understand. She looked up at the night sky. The stars were fading. Clouds rolled in. It's time. The subrunner splashed into the waves. John guided it down, slow and steady. Lights blinked along the control panel. Inside, Valira sat still, eyes closed. She was listening, not with ears but through the pulse of the machine. I can feel it, she said. The beacon hums like a broken song. It's been waiting a long time. How far down? John asked. Valira opened her eyes. Farther than light can reach. As they sank, the ocean turned black. Outside, nothing moved, just floating shadows and strange glowing fish with wide teeth. The scanner beeped. Object detected, 2,000 meters below. Unknown origin. John narrowed his eyes. There it is. Suddenly, the water grew warm. Lights flickered. The subrunner jerked. What was that? John shouted. Valira's voice was calm. Something doesn't want us to reach it. A loud screech echoed through the deep, metal against metal. Then silence. They reached a wide trench. Below, a strange shape rested, not a building, not a ship. A dome, made of stone and silver, half covered in seaweed and coral. At its center, the beacon. It glowed like a sleeping heart. John parked the subrunner above it. You sure it's safe? Valira didn't answer. She had already opened the hatch. The water didn't touch her. As she stepped out, her body created a field, pushing the sea away. John followed inside a small pod suit, oxygen low. They walked across the dome's surface. Symbols lit up beneath Valira's feet. The beacon pulsed once, then again, then stopped. Valira touched it. Welcome back, Crown Daughter. Secure code. Throne Weaver. Opening memories. Suddenly, blue light exploded from the dome. Holograms danced in the water. Memories from Vereen. A royal garden. Children laughing. Valira's mother. I remember this place, Valira whispered. They used to bring me here to learn how to speak to deep machines. John looked around. So it's not a beacon. It's a school? Valira shook her head. It's both. She knelt beside the beacon. The truth is hidden here. But something was wrong. John turned to the scanner. It blinked red. Signal jammed. Unknown frequency locked in. What the? The ocean above shook. Figures dropped from the dark. Hunters. Not 7. Not 10. 30. They didn't fall, they swam, floated, surrounded the dome. Valira's eyes widened. It's a trap. The beacon began to melt. Its light turned from blue to red. John ran to her. We have to leave. No, she said. If I leave now, they'll use this beacon against others. I must destroy it. She placed her hands on the core. The dome shook. Glass cracked. Hunters slammed down from above. Blades out. Red lights glowing. John grabbed a rod. We're surrounded. Valira's body lit up like a star. The machines inside the dome woke. Ancient defense bots rose from the stone. The battle began. John fought like a wild spark. Dodging, swinging, helping Valira hold the line. Valira moved faster than ever. Her power pulsed with the rhythm of the sea. The beacon screamed. One final burst of energy. Valira shouted, Cover your eyes! John ducked. A wave of light blasted through the dome. Every hunter froze mid-air, then shattered into black dust. The dome cracked. Water rushed in. Valira grabbed John. Hold on! Her field expanded, pushing the sea back again. She pulled him toward the subrunner, now floating sideways, lights broken. They climbed in as the dome collapsed behind them. Back on the surface, the sun was rising. Red sky, wet air, tired hearts. John lay on the dock, coughing. Valira stood nearby, holding a shard of the broken beacon. It's over, he said. She shook her head. No, it's only the beginning. He sat up. They knew we'd come. They lured us. Yes, she said. But they also made a mistake. What mistake? Valira looked at the rising sun. They reminded me who I am. Far above, on the black ship orbiting Earth, General Kale watched the video feed go dark. He slammed his fist on the console. She's stronger than we thought. An officer whispered, Should we use the Earth protocol? Kale smiled coldly. Not yet. Let her believe she's winning. The world was waking up, but not in the way humans expected. In hidden corners of Earth, machines were humming, signals pulsing, metals shifting. They were responding to something, someone, and that someone was no longer just hiding. She was rebuilding her crown. In the middle of a desert scrapyard, far from cities and satellites, John worked beside Valira. The sand was hot, but the sky above buzzed with quiet power. Old satellites had started turning, as if trying to listen. Valira sat cross-legged in a circle of broken machines. Around her were chips, wires, crystals, things from Earth and some not from Earth. John wiped sweat from his neck. Are you sure this will work? Valira didn't open her eyes. The crown doesn't just sit on the head. Connects to memory, to will, to the ancient code that ruled machines across galaxies. He blinked. Right. So just another day then? She smiled. Just another crown of circuits. For hours she connected each piece. Her hands moved with grace, but not like a robot. Like a queen weaving her throne from sparks and steel. Each wire remembered her touch. Each chip glowed as if happy to return home. Finally, she lifted the half-formed crown. It looked nothing like gold. It was smooth silver, lined with blue veins that pulsed like light inside water. Thin, sharp points stretched upward like branches reaching for stars. This is only part of it, she said. The full crown needs my memory, my voice, my command. John stepped closer. And what happens when you wear it? Valira looked at him. The galaxy listens. But they weren't alone anymore. Earth satellites had picked up the subocean blast from the beacon dome. Now Earth's leaders wanted answers. That night, a human government ship flew above the scrapyard. Black and silent. No markings. It dropped a message drone. John caught it midair. It spoke. Alien unit detected. Dangerous tech detected. Surrender subject immediately. John crushed the drone under his boot. Valira didn't move. They see me now, she whispered. John nodded. They're scared of what they don't control. Valira touched the crown again. Then let them see all of me. She placed the crown on her head. The desert wind stopped. The stars blinked. And every dead machine in the scrapyard came to life. Drones floated upward. Old bots rolled forward. A broken space pod shook itself awake. Even John's old toaster lit up and said, "Hello, Queen." Valira stood. The crown glowed like a second sun. Machines whispered, not in words, but in code. Ancient, powerful code. The Queen lives. The signal returns. The throne breathes. Across Earth, strange things began happening. On Mars base, forgotten mining bots began stacking stones into a spiral. In deep space, an old Varine probe blinked after 80 years of silence. In a junkyard in Tokyo, robot pets danced in circles, chanting the Varine symbol in light. But not everyone was pleased. Up in orbit, General Kale watched the news feed with a cold smile. She puts on a crown, he said, and thinks she is queen again. A soldier bowed. Shall we stop her, General? Kale turned away. No, let her rise. The higher she climbs, the harder she will fall. Back on Earth, Valira took off the crown. Her eyes were wet. Are you okay? John asked. I saw them, she said. My people. Some are still alive. Hiding. Waiting. Scared. She looked up. They heard me. Even across the stars. John smiled. Then let's bring them home. But then, a siren screamed in the distance. A message played from the skies. This is Earth Command. Alien unit known as Valira must surrender. You are not welcome here. Your powers break global law. This is your final warning. John growled. They want to sell you, control you, or destroy you. Valira stepped forward. Let them try. She raised her hand. The machines around her formed a circle. Together, they projected a message into space. A woman standing tall in the desert, crown glowing, machines behind her. She spoke only 2 words. I remember. Across the galaxy, on ruined moons and silent planets, refugees saw the signal and whispered one name, Valira. But the Earth Command wasn't done. Minutes later, missiles fired from orbit. Coming fast. Coming deadly. John grabbed Valira. They launched. But she was already moving. She raised her arms. And the machines rose with her. Drones flew up and met the missiles in midair. Explosions lit the sky. No human died. But the world now knew. Valira was no longer hiding. And Earth had made its choice. Far away, on a hidden space station, a Varine elder opened her eyes for the first time in decades. She smiled. She has the crown, the elder said. And behind her, hundreds of ships powered up. The sky over Earth was no longer quiet. It glowed with broken stars. Burning trails from ships, some falling, some rising. And at the center of it all was her. Valira. Crown glowing. Eyes bright with fire. Voice carried across space. Her signal had reached far. Too far. Now the galaxy was coming. Some to follow. Some to kill. John stood beside her on a mountain cliff, watching the night burn. He had been many things, fixer, loner, junkman. Now, he was the only human standing between Earth and the last royal of a fallen empire. Are you ready? He asked. Valira didn't answer. She held the crown in her hand, not on her head. Her eyes stared at the horizon, where the first alien ships were entering the atmosphere. Not enemies. Not yet. Her people. The Varine refugees had answered her call. ships shaped like wings, engines that sang. They hovered above the clouds, waiting for a signal, waiting for her to say, "I will lead you." But Valira hesitated. "I dreamed of this moment," she said, "but I don't feel like a queen." John laughed. "That's how you know you're ready." Suddenly, a sharp wind cut through the silence. A black spear landed near them, buzzing with dark energy. It hissed and projected a face in red fire. General Kale, his eyes cold, his voice sharp. "Valira," he said, "you remember me now. Good. Then you know what I must do." Valira stepped forward. "I remember the night you cut my mind and locked my name." Kale smiled. "You were too powerful. You would have broken the galaxy." "I was a child," she whispered. Kale raised his hand. "You are still dangerous. Come to my ship. Surrender the crown, or Earth will burn." The fire vanished. John cursed. "He's bluffing." Valira shook her head. "No, Kale doesn't bluff. He only destroys." She held the crown tightly. "I need to end this. Not with war. With truth." John looked at her. "You want to go up there?" She nodded. "Alone?" "No way." Valira turned to him. "John, this is my fight." He grabbed her arm. "Then don't forget something." "What?" "You're not just royal blood. You have a human heart too now." Valira smiled softly. "That's what scares them most." She boarded the fastest drone ship and flew toward Kale's vessel, leaving behind the glow of her people, and the only friend she had ever truly trusted. Inside the black warship, General Kale waited. Valira stepped onto the command bridge, the crown glowing in her hand but not worn. Kale clapped slowly. "No army? No weapons. I came to end the blood," she said. "Not spill more of it." He circled her like a wolf. "You always were too soft." She lifted her chin. "Soft enough to save a planet. Strong enough to face you." Kale's smile vanished. "You think kindness is strength?" "I do," she said. "Because fear dies when hope rises." Kale struck first, fast and hard. A blade of red lightning shot toward her. She raised her hand. The crown floated from her palm. It hovered above her head and chose her. The ship's metal bent. The power inside her exploded. Kale staggered back. "You can't control it." Valira's voice echoed with light. "I don't control it. I guide it." She pressed her hand to his chest. Flashes of memory hit him. The palace, her mother, the betrayal, the child he hurt. Kale fell to his knees. I was wrong." Valira closed her eyes. "I forgive you, but I will not follow you." She turned, left him kneeling. Back on Earth, John saw the black ship falling. Not crashing. Landing. Valira returned. Not as a weapon. Not just a queen. But as a bridge between worlds. Later that night, as dawn rose, Valira sat quietly in John's workshop, the place where she had first awakened. John handed her a warm cup. "Still want the throne?" he asked. She shook her head. "I wore the crown. I gave the signal. I brought my people home." She looked at the stars. "But I don't need a throne to lead." He smiled. "So what now?" She reached into her chest, pulled out the crest, placed it on the table beside her. "I give it to Earth." John blinked. "Why?" "Because Earth gave me something I never had before." He tilted his head. "What?" Valira looked at him and said the one word she had never understood. Until now,